Hi everybody, my name is Leigh and I'm in a beautiful valley called Pemberton Valley. So this video here is going to show some permaculture methods of how to grow our food needs and to be very gently walking on the planet without harming the environment. As you can see, a lot of area for the wildlife to do their thing. And I'm going to show the benefits of doing the cultivation of weeding and how it builds the soil, attracts the beneficial insects, and actually helps the bottom line for the businessman. This is the beautiful Pemberton soil here, and this is actually like a fine beach sand that comes from the Lillooet River, and it's turning this beautiful brown color by doing permaculture methods. And over here we have all these wild species of weeds here growing up. So I've allowed nature just to do its thing here so that the birds and the bugs and everything can do its thing. And I just keep mowing it down and the dead stuff just builds it up. And this is the result of working partnership with nature. Pemberton is great for farming because we have this ground up minerals from the glaciers up the river that's been washed down over thousands of years and created this beautiful valley bottom. No rocks in the soil. It's depending on where you are, it's anywhere from like a cocoa powder to like a beach sand to almost like a silty clay. So here particularly I have a beach sand, very, very fine beach sand, the way the river turns a corner, and it's just deposited this beautiful beach sand over the thousands of years. And by growing all these wild crops here, the soil gets browner and browner. And doing methods permaculturally, it builds your soil to the point where all you got to do is basically water it. It's just so rich. So what I've been doing is just with a little machine like this, and then I put a plow on the back here, you see? And this plow is like in the old days when they had a horse and a plow, and it makes these grooves here, you see? And these grooves, and then you have a nice trough here for planting. And this, because it is beach sand, it drains very fast. So that's why there's a bit of a trough so that when I water, it'll hold the water. But yeah, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a planting bed like that. And this tool here is a very ancient tool, and I love it because it's very simple. You know, just a metal thing, wooden handles that's been around for hundreds, thousands of years. Just go down here like this, see? And this groove I'm making is where your seeds can go, or your seedlings, if you have seedlings, right? Okay, so that's it. What's different about permaculture farming than regular organic farming is really important difference in that permaculture is meaning permanent culture. And by using permaculture methods, which is very popular in Europe, that is one of my goals, is to help the movement in Europe come over here to Pemberton. And I'm starting this movement called Pemberton Permaculture. And it's very exciting because I have this demonstration garden here within biking distance of the town of Pemberton. And whether you're in a big scale, 2 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, the same model can be replicated. It's the same as these energy efficient homes, okay? People are becoming so efficient on a micro level, but when we start increasing the, multiplying this model, we can go into the macro. And that's where there's hope for our future and cooling off our planet. So really, the biggest incentive for being a permaculture farmer rather than an organic farmer is that it will help more to cool the planet. And that's the bottom line. Okay, the next step is how this new method of fertilizing, putting the microbes in the soil, not even having to use compost, but just the liquid from the compost. So we're going to go over here. With the compost, you just use your all your paper waste and your food waste and your weeds and everything. You mix them all together, you make a mound. It heats up, cooks everything, and then as it decomposes and turns nice and black, like this black stuff here, when it turns nice and black like that, you can put it in a bucket over here. Okay, you see the color in there? Now I've been putting wood ashes in here. I've been putting in the weeds in here, the horsetail. In the ocean, I get this seaweed from the ocean in here, and especially the compost, right? So you just keep doing this, stir it up every day. This is fermenting, and it's building more microbes for free. So in other words, I don't have to have a hell of a lot of compost anymore. I just gotta maintain my slurry here, my nice little compost tea bucket, and you know, you could use anything at all. I mean, depending on how big your garden is. So I've got 50% warm water in there now. I'm gonna fill this with 50% of this black, highly microbed compost tea. It has everything in it, ashes and everything like that. So one thing I noticed though is that you got to take your screen off because the compost tea has lots of little bits in it. So basically you just fill up your groove that you made with that old-fashioned tool, just dump it in there, and nature does the rest. It attaches itself to the minerals in the soil and it stays there. So I found that it's amazing results. All of this stuff in this section has all been done by liquid, and as you can see, this cilantro here, how well it's doing, and these new transplant, how well they're doing. No compost in the soil, just the liquid, and if they look like they need it, I will give them another drink. Well, permaculture is really important to me because I have 2 children, yourself included, you know, and I want to help to establish a consciousness for all the people that live here to be very proud of their place and be very grateful, and that realizing that how important it is to protect it for the future generations, so that if we start helping each other grow our own foods, we don't have to have trucks coming up here all the time. We can become more self-sufficient and healthier and happier. If you come over here, this is a volunteer kale that just came up on its own. 2nd generation, wild seed if you will, and look how healthy it is. Amazing, right? Anyway, another interesting fact is a lot of these weeds here are very edible. This one here is called edible purslane. So it's nice to know that you can eat your mulch, and they attract beneficial insects and snakes and everything, so it helps all the plants look after each other. And the good news is that the bears and the deer, they walk all through this garden, but they don't eat my plants. They eat this wild stuff. So the wildlife like the wilder product, and the domesticated stuff I'm growing, they don't like as much. So it's a good way to live with the wildlife and work in harmony with them. I just want to share what permaculture's done for me with you, right? So, you know, it doesn't mean that much to me if I don't get to help somebody else have the benefits that I've benefited from. So over here, this is a new experiment. This is holy basil. The crazy thing is here is that the smell attracts all the pollinators. And right here I have my zucchinis. And the pollination of the zucchinis has been so amazing. These flowers here, right? See, have a look. There you go. See the pollinator in there? So when you get good pollination, you get amazing amount of zucchinis, right? You know, lots of little, I've already taken hundreds of pounds out of here with only 15 plants, you know, and they just still keep producing all the time. So this is a new trick I'm going to use. Holy basil, where I will have plants that require lots of pollination. And over here, I harvested it and dried it. I'm going to make tea out of it. Here we have some carrots. So this is all the amount of weeding that you really have to do. As long as your plants are, you can see them and healthy, leave the rest of your weeds. It's much better than plastic. It helps you out. It's like putting money in the bank, and I'm talking your soil bank. So either you pay money every year for chemical fertilizers and seeds and everything like that, or if you learn about permaculture, you can avoid all those costs. It's a little extra work up front, but as the years go by, it's going to be easier. So one of the things I'm doing is I am allowing a lot of my plants to flower and go to seed. So here we have beets, some dill weed here. Now, here's a good example of what I'm talking about. This was my first planting of arugula. I allowed to go to seed at the end, and here we go. We have seeds that are ready to go, and that's what we were doing up there. We made that new bed, and we're going to plant. We can plant some of these seeds from earlier for the new arugula, and these seeds will be stronger, second generation seeds. Same thing over here with the cilantro. Allowing some of the cilantro to go to seed. This is the very first planting, and I've done 4 more plantings along the way here, and so I'll have seed here for next year. So as we go here, we have some wild broccoli seeds that I'm just going to save, and over here is Mizuna, and more carrots, more carrots. That's the same thing. In the gully, the cool loving plants you can plant in those gullies that the machine makes. You know, this is just the introduction. This is just the start. But as we move forward, you know, there will be so much more involved than just the food we eat. You know, it's the jobs we do. You know, what do we do with our, in general, with our times? You know, what do we do to go into our comfort zones? You know, in permaculture, these things can actually change from what they are today to once we get more introduced to growing our own food, we'll start looking at other aspects of our lives, which is what I've done. And you know, I'm very, very grateful for all the things that permaculture has done for me. So here we have potatoes. Now the potatoes are up on a big hill like this, so they got lots of soil for the roots to go down. Here we have the onions in the gully there. It's hard to see, but they're pretty much harvested. Here's the peas. I'm just going to let them go to seed all through there. And all this weeds here are all lamb's quarter seed heads. It's like the quinoa family. So this is amazing food for all the birds. And the birds, when they poo, is a lot of phosphorus, right? So you want to encourage a lot of birds on your garden. But over here, this is the new amazing way of getting high production from heat-loving plants, okay? As you can see here, I'm up on a hill here, you see? So I took my front end loader and piled it up about 3 feet high, 6 feet across. So when the sun hits it, it warms up. And the soil is loose, so the roots can travel quite easily. So we have these monster tomato plants here. As you can see, these are a new heritage variety from Thailand, all open pollinated, all natural, just amazing, amazing, amazing results. And the same with the cucumbers. See, cucumbers here, they just roll down the hill like that, and they can just keep spreading out. Next year I'm going to put more holy basil right next to these guys so that it'll attract more pollinators. Even though it was pretty good, I think I can do better. This video will really help you to realize how easy it is to become more permacultural. Like if you're living in your van, or you're living with a bunch of guys, or whatever your circumstances is. I mean, even the culture in your stomach, in your digestive system, we want to have a permanent culture in there too, a permaculture, so that we have the energy to go snowboarding and skiing for many years to come and not be like worn out by the time we're 40 or 50, right? So this weed here, everybody wants to get rid of this horsetail. It's been around since the dinosaur ages, right? But the truth is, it breaks off easy. It decomposes into like beautiful dry straw, builds the soil. The deer love it, the bear love it. It's our blessing. It's so much better than plastic mulch, you know. And it brings the moisture from down low, brings it to the surface. It's just when it gets overwhelming, you just break it off, and then it has a new purpose. I put this in my compost tea. It's full of silica. They make herbal products from it. So when you see this in your garden, be thankful. This hill's about 7 feet high. It's just piled up weeds that are obnoxious. You don't like them. They're invasive. The couch grass roots, all that. Just pile it up as high as you can. And then on the top, you just make a beautiful little hole planter, and you stick your seedlings in there. And over here we have some beautiful squashes. Same thing, they just roll down. Nice beautiful spaghetti squashes. Yeah, you could do this for watermelon, right? Because they're very big heat loving. So next year I'm going to try watermelon. So I'm just turning the water on. The squashes are starting to wilt, so I got to go water them. So the way I have my system set up, I can do almost 2 full acres with a 300-foot garden hose, okay? That's all it's required. No fancy irrigation system, no $20,000 plastic mulch machine, and it's a hands-on one-person operation that you see here in this video. So here, I'm going to show you how my routine is. It's like meditation, because each one of these plants are my family, and they're going to feed me and keep my energy going. So developing a relationship with our food that we eat is so important for sustainability, to have a permanent culture where we live in our environment. In here, out there, all around us. It's so important. And also have a look at all the variety here. You have clover. This one here, people think, oh, it's terrible, but look how easy it pulls out. Look at the topsoil it builds. Look at the seeds it feeds all the birds. Unbelievable. And of course, we have our clover. The clover is amazing, right? It's a pollinator. It takes nitrogen from the atmosphere, puts it into your soil. Our lives don't have to be so complicated. This is, look, you don't need much. Maybe a little rototiller instead of a lawnmower. It's amazing. And out of this like small little 2 acres here, I can feed 20 families. So even if all you have is 1,000 square feet, that's half of your backyard. Convert it like those little rows I made over there, and you'll be able to feed your family too. Yeah, that's why it's really important for anybody who doesn't know anything about permaculture is to start to remember that name. And Pemberton Permaculture will give people access to the information, and that's really what I'm going to be working on for the next few years, is to compile all the things I've learned over the years to help myself, and I'm going to compile them all together into a website, videos, YouTube, whatever it takes to get it out there, to get the information out there, to show people who have no idea what it is, how easy it is, and then how easy it is to get 10% happier in your life, how to improve a millimeter on a daily basis or weekly basis, and how age can actually benefit you as a human being, to give you hope for your future, and just realize dreams that you didn't think were possible. So really, this video is like planting a seed, hopefully into your body, that things are going to get better. Thank you very much. Things got better for me, so I have to help you.